All right, we're talking about 1 Peter 3 and 15. Always be ready to give a reason for the hope that you have. Always be ready to give an answer for the hope that lies within you. When people say, why do you believe in God? Why do you believe in Jesus? Why are you a Christian? Always be ready to give that answer, right? And that's that can be a challenge if we stray from the Lord, if we're not walking with the Lord, if we're living in sin, if we're not reading the Bible, not following up with our spiritual commitments, right? And so to live a life always at the ready, that's the challenge. As for us Christians, we got to do it. If you're not there, get there. I want to encourage you, get to the point where at any moment you're ready to help someone. You're ready to help someone with godly advice or with prayer. That you could just say to them, hey, do you need prayer? Can I pray for you? And then be ready to pray for them for real, like you're talking to the Lord, man. I remember, it was only a couple of years ago. I was at a convenience store and I was in the middle of my work day, doing some landscape work, and I stopped, to get some stuff from the gas station, and I was inside and it was busy, and this lady just started screaming, man. She came in just, in like a panic, but I mean, more of like anger. She came in just screaming about her man, and that he was, a dog, and that he had been, cheating on her and beating on her and all the above. I mean, she was giving way too much info to everybody. She was talking to an older man. It looked like maybe her father or her father-in-law, like he was a grandpa. I mean, and she was probably in her, late 30s, early 40s. And she was saying curse words I never heard before. I mean, she was going off, man. Just loud inside the convenience store in front of everybody, and, and dragging this old guy, around the store and buying her stuff and cursing at the clerk. I mean, not at him, but like, just in front of him, and just, she was, I'm talking enraged. Like, I don't get uncomfortable. I've been through some crazy situations in my life. I can handle stuff, but man, it made me uncomfortable, man. This lady, I started to hurt for her. I don't know why. Maybe it was the Lord. I just started to have this compassion, this just hurt. I could just tell I was overwhelmed with her hurt. Like, somebody has hurt this woman, and she is just boldly losing it in public now. She had parked right in front of the store. And I went out to my truck, and in the craziness of all this, I forgot to pay for gas. I forgot to get gas. And so I get to the truck and realize, man, and there was something else I forgot. Something sent me back in. Maybe it was the reverse. Maybe I forgot to get a drink and I just paid for the gas. I don't remember now, but I had to go back in, and I remember that my heart dropped. I'm like, I have to walk back by this woman, and I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking in my heart, I hope she doesn't say anything to me. I was just in one of those moods. But then as I got up to the door of the convenience store, there she was. She's coming out, getting into her car. She was sitting down, and as I was going in, I looked at her in her car, and she looked at me. We made eye contact, and I could just feel her pain. It was just like a weird connection. I went in and paid for what I had to pay for, and I came back out. She was looking right at me. I felt like the Lord said, she needs prayer. And so I just went over to her window, and I knelt down. She was screaming at the old guy, not at him, but screaming about her dilemma to him. He was just wide-eyed and listening. He wasn't saying a word. She was losing it. And I gently put my hands on her. Window was down. Everyone could hear this. And the store was still packed. There's cars on both sides of us. A big truck behind me. I was on, next to her, but now I was on my knees at her window, kneeled down, one leg down, one leg up, like a football position, and my hands on her car door and her window. And I said, would you like for me to pray for you? And man, she just calmed down. She said, yes, please. And she grabbed my hands. And I said, let me put my hand on your head. I usually, in a tense situation like that, I pray over someone like that. And I held one hand, and I put my hand on her head, and she said, please do. And she just calmed down. And I started praying. Man, I was praying like I'd never prayed before. I'm praying, Lord, come on. Like, give this woman some peace, man. I'm praying for her. I'm praying for the old dude. I'm praying for everything now. The truck next to me, next to her, starts backing out. And when he's backing out, his front wheel turns a little bit and just runs over my foot. My foot was like, laid down to where the top of my foot was on the ground. My sole was facing up in the air. He just ran over the front part of my foot in the middle of prayer. And I'm like, oh, and then he noticed it and stopped the truck on my foot. The tire is just on my foot. And I look up at him and I'm like, go. And he's like, oh my gosh. And, and he keeps backing up. And he says, sorry, I'm so sorry. I said, it's all right. She looks at me and she said, did he just run over your foot? I said, yeah. She goes, are you all right? I said, I'll be fine. So let's just keep praying. So, man, I just pushed through that. Just man up, pushed through that and just kept praying for her. When I was done, she squeezed my hands and she said, my grandmother gave me a Bible. She said, I'm gonna read it. She said, I'm gonna go to church. She said, I needed this. Thank you so much. I'm like, you're welcome. I got up and limped to my truck. Man, it hurt. Oh, I limped over there and, my foot hurt for the next 5 hours. I mean, we got through it. But man, I'll just never forget that, right? Never forget it. The sacrifices we make, right? But anyway, just be ready. Be ready. Stay close. I want to encourage somebody listening. Here's a word for somebody listening. Stay close to God. You're listening to me now because you need to hear me say, stay close to the Lord. Don't drift. Don't get away. Be ready. God's going to bring people into your life and he wants you ready. God's going to bring people hurting, people that don't know him, people that do know him, that need to be brought back. God's going to bring people into your life. Be ready. Take the hit if you have to. Get that foot run over and keep praying for your friends, for your family. Be the one that's ready. Live at the ready for your King. All right. Until we meet again, my friend, go and do the next right thing.